So last year, I kind of accidentally did something inside my business that generated over $500,000 in cash that entered my bank account. And I want to share with you today the process of how it became a thing, the bad advice I got along the way, and most importantly, why you should highly consider it as well. So before I jump into it, I want you to first do me a favor, real quick. Just pull up your sales dashboard and do me a solid and just check that number on there. If you've done less than $250,000 in the last 12 months cash collected, this video is not for you. In fact, this video will actually probably give you the wrong advice. So I highly recommend, if you have done less than $250,000 inside your info product or coaching business, that you go watch a different video. However, if you have done over $250,000, then I believe this system that I'm about to share with you could potentially make you a lot of extra money. And it also might be something where it just doesn't make sense for you. But I want to just be open and honest with you about my thought process and how we came up with this, and why I think every coach that has done over $250,000 inside their business should highly, highly consider this. So the back end story behind this was a little bit about, I'm going to refer to this as last year just to keep it simple. It was a little bit longer than last year, but essentially we were kind of hitting a little bit of a cap inside of our front end cash collected. We would have some months where they would be up, you know how it is, a roller coaster, and then some months down. It was never really consistent, which led to inconsistency inside the business. So we would have some months that would be like way up here, some months down here, and we always had an average. But the problem was we never really had like that consistency where it's like each month we're around the same spot. It was kind of like a roller coaster, if I'm being honest with you. And what we realized was that, we kind of observed some of the people that are doing, $1 million a month, and we're like, what are they doing different than us? And to give you context, we were, again, this is a little bit longer than a year ago, but we were roughly around $100,000 a month pretty consistently, ups and downs. I think the lowest was probably like 105. We'd go up to maybe like 200 or whatever it might be. Very inconsistent. And then once we implemented this, we had our first revenue month of $500,000, and I don't like saying revenue, so we had our first cash month where we actually did $432,000 cash collected, I believe, and this was a big, decent part of it. So anyways, after kind of realizing that and studying some other people that have been doing this longer, keep in mind I've been in the coaching and consulting space for realistically about 6-7 years now. I went full in about 3 years ago. I actually used to run an agency, so we did a lot of done-for-you stuff, and then we made the transition into the actual coaching side of stuff with more done with you, and now we are doing some more done-for-you stuff. But point being is, it's definitely a different market when you're not used to it, and like what we did was just look at the people that are doing, consistent $500,000 a month, $1 million a month, $2 million, $3 million, and I had some friends that are doing those type of numbers, so I would sit down and talk to them and just kind of see what was different about what they were doing. So after analyzing some of that stuff, the big thing that I kind of realized was we needed to broaden our product suite, right? We had one product, and granted, I'll be honest, the reason I had that product is because I hired some coaches to help us scale, which we got some great results, but also some not such great advice. We had some people, and I'll go into the actual story about this, but rewinding a little bit, again, going back last year, we had a lot of clients getting amazing results. I'm talking about results where it's life-changing within the first 30 or 60 days, which is usually pretty uncommon. However, our program at the time was only 4 months. So after 4 months, there wasn't really anything else. And we noticed some of these clients, they would literally skyrocket. And then after 4 months, they would go off, do their own thing, and then we'd touch base with them, and they'd be back down to like where they started. And we're just like blown away of how that happened. So with that, we also had a lot of clients asking us, like, what's next? What do we do from here? And like, again, our advice from our coaches at the time was do nothing, just keep selling what you're doing. And we're like, all right, well, let's see this go, how we can go. And like, clearly it just kept coming up where it's like, there needs to be something else, right? And I'll never forget, we had one client who was actually a college kid. And I'm not going to go into the details off or anything like that, but he skyrocketed up. He actually, I believe, dropped out of college and built this business up to over $100,000 a month while working with us. And then after his 4 months was up, he, we still actually gave him access to the stuff, but he kind of went off and did his own thing. Long story short, he ended up hiring like a done-for-you ads agency. I don't know why, but completely ruined his business. Brought him back down to like $5K a month. And then we were like, dude, okay, something has to change because we have something that's working really well here. We just need to have our clients dialed in and consistent and continue to working with us. So that was kind of when everything kind of clicked for me. It was like, okay, we need to have a continuation. We need to have a backend offer, an ascension offer. So these type of clients can still work with us so they can maintain their results. And that's essentially what we did. So I basically just said, fuck it. Fuck the bad advice. Fuck the other advice all these people are telling me. I know what I need to do. And we decided the way that we were going to launch this was to throw a mastermind and allow 5 people in. No fake scarcity, just like I didn't want to sell it to everyone because I didn't know how much time was going to be involved. A lot of people, again, this goes back to the bad advice. A lot of people are like, oh, just sell more of your time, sell your one-on-one calls and all this stuff. And like, I didn't want to do that. Like I really value my time and I don't want my calendar back to back every single day with client calls because like I want to run the business. I don't want the business to run me. Again, another piece of bad advice I've gotten along the way. So I'll share with you the good and the bad as I get through here so hopefully you don't make the same mistakes. But we had a mastermind. We opened it only to clients. Nobody else, just clients only. We rented out this mansion in Fort Lauderdale and we had an awesome event. It was probably one of the most stressful times, but also one of the most fun times I've ever had when it comes in this business model. So we threw down this event. I think we had maybe like, 40 high ticket clients that came here. And with that event, we made money on the front end for hosting the event. If I'm just being honest with you, which usually in events, you usually don't make money on the front end. So I'll cover that in a future video of the event stuff and all that and everything from there. But point being is at this event on the last day, we actually opened up and pitched our next level event. Right? I figured let's just get everybody into person. Let's pitch this from here. And again, we only opened up 5 spots. I didn't want this to be something where I've seen people say, I only have 10 spots open and then they sell like 25, 30 people in there. I didn't want to do that. Like just being honest with you, because like for me, money is definitely something that I aim for, but also at the same time, peace of mind is why I'm in this business model. That's the freedom. Like I don't want to have to be overworked to the point where I hate my life and hate my business. I've done that before. And like, that's why everything I do is very strategic with this. Some people say, why don't you go faster with certain things? I'm good. I like where we're at right now. And I like the way that I conduct my business. So anyways, we threw this mastermind and I pitched it. I said we had 5 spots open and sure enough, 5 people bought in. We closed it down. We brought on the 5 people and we started building our Ascension program from there, our next level program. And those 5 people, things were going really well. And so we're like, all right, well, let's just see how we can do this and get more people in here. So we started opening up, getting 5 people in at a time. And it really wasn't hard to sell because we weren't offering it to the public. We were only offering it to our current clients. And it was more access to me and my COO. And then also the other big thing that a lot of clients liked was the masterminds that we were having as part of this, because that kind of grew. And I'll tell you how all that happened here as well. But our clients it was a clear demand for what the clients needed, because what we did before this was we actually survey all of our clients all the time, which I highly recommend you do if you don't, every 30, 60, 90 days, however long your program is, every 30 days. And the one thing they kept saying is they wanted something next. They wanted more access to me. They wanted this type of stuff, because at this point in my business, I'm removed from the daily messages or client success. Like I had client success coaches. So like the access they had to me was once a week on a coaching call. And we had other coaches in there as well too. So their support was solid, but they just wanted more access to me. And like that's usually how it goes as you build a scalable product and you're demonstrating these type of skills, because at the end of the day, nobody really knows like what I know when it comes to building my business like the way I built it. Now, my COO is the next person in line, but there's still things that I know that he doesn't know, and there's probably things he knows that I don't know. Aside from that, we surveyed everyone. That's what they wanted. So we're like, all right, that's how we came up with the idea to actually do this. And we kept just bringing on 5 people at a time. We were limited to 5 people in a month. We would never bring on more than 5 a month because, again, we just wanted to maintain our peace of mind and make sure that this worked. Long story short, this was a very like low key type of thing that we weren't really pushing a lot of sales to. It was just kind of like on the back end for the people that we thought were the right fit. And long story short, it ended up being a complete hit. Like our clients love it. We don't have a problem getting people into it. It's probably one of the easiest sales ever because like the clients that come in, we're only hand selecting a specific type that get really good results in our first program and then send them to the next because it's a no-brainer because it's like, hey, we made you all this money on the front end. Work with us and we'll help show you how to double, triple, quadruple that in the back end, right? So we did that. And within a year, the first year of launching that, we actually added an additional $500,000 in cash to the business. Now, as I was going through this, I'm looking back on it, and I had multiple coaches that I paid a lot of money to at the time tell me, no, don't do this. Stay focused. Only do one thing. I even had one coach, swear to God, I had one coach I paid over $30,000 to tell me not to do this mastermind. Said this would be the worst idea I've ever done. This, don't do it. Stay focused, sell your one offer, just keep getting clients online. Don't do in person, like don't do the mastermind. It's a lot of work. It's not going to be worth it. And I remember talking to Alec, who's my COO right now, and I was like, dude, am I tripping on this? Like, what are your thoughts? He's like, no, we should definitely do this. I was like, okay, I just want to get a gut check here because like, I think this is just really bad advice if I'm being honest with you. And it turned out it was. Like if I didn't do that, adding up to like over a year and a half from that, that would have been $900,000 that I would just never have gotten if I would have taken that one bad piece of advice. And I don't think a lot of people realize how one crucial piece of advice could be the best thing or the worst thing for you inside your business and your life. And I've personally invested in tons and tons of coaches, consultants, and I will be honest, there are some people that are really good and there are some people that are really, really bad. And if you're watching this and you can relate to that, it's probably why you're still on this video right now, is because, what else are you going to do? You're going to quit? Like I talked to some people, they're like, oh man, I invested in this coach and it didn't work out. I got scammed. It's like, no, dude, you didn't get scammed. You just didn't get the information you want. Even that $30,000 coach that I paid, which by the way, I did not think the program was worth 30. I thought it was worth probably like $5,000. I still pulled things from him that I thought were beneficial and that I still was able to get my money's out of. I always get my money's worth out of it. And that's like always, I think, on the end user. Because when somebody goes, oh, I paid this person, I had somebody say this the other day. They're like, oh, I paid this person $10,000. They're doing $200,000 a month. And dude, they scammed me. I didn't get anything out of it. I'm like, really? You didn't get one thing out of them doing $200,000 a month? Shame on you, man. You should be able to study how they do things and just learn. Because a lot of times when you buy into a coaching business, if you just learn their infrastructure and how they operate, that alone sometimes is worth the ROI right there, which most people don't really think like that. Anyways, I digress. I'm getting too far into this. I had a bad coach that said, hey, don't do this mastermind. This coach also told me to sell my car as soon as I bought it too, which I don't know. Didn't make logical sense. I bought my car because I work hard. I digress again from there. The point is, you got to be careful with the advice you get. Going on from here, we started scaling this thing. Like I said, it was just a demand for our clients. And I think the big thing that I would say as I kind of wrap up this video without rambling too much is just give you the advice is I think anyone that's doing over $250,000 a year inside your business, you need what we call a product suite where you don't just rely on one offer. And this might be a little bit different than the previous advice I've given in previous videos because previously I would always say, hey, don't have another offer until you're doing $100,000 a month. And that's what I did. We didn't have any other offers until we were doing that. But I think things have changed in this world, and I see things in a more clear direction now where I think you should have a product suite. But again, that's why I said this will only, if you've done less than $250,000, stick to just one product. Like don't change anything because chances are you haven't perfected that one product yet. If you've done over $250,000, then this is something you want to start strategizing inside your business on how to do it the right way. And the easiest, most simple way is to essentially create a backend offer and a renewal rate. So if your program is 4 months, by the way, never sell lifelong access. If you are somebody that's doing that, stop right now. Lifetime access, if you're going to do lifetime access, you can do it for the course, that's fine, but never give lifetime access to your actual program. There's a difference between a course and a program, right? Program is a course, coaching calls, you get support, everything like that. A course is just a course, right? So just remember that. I'm a big believer, never do lifetime access. I recommend never do it for anything if you can, to be honest with you. Because lifetime is lifetime, a lot of things can happen in a lifetime. Anyways, if you're going to do this, I recommend having a high ticket backend offer. I think that's the first thing that you definitely need to have in a place to ascend people, because you're going to have clients that come through that are rock stars that really want the next level. And when you have a business like this, let's just say you have 100 people that come through. Well, 10% of those people are probably, no matter how great they sound on the sales call, you can't filter them out. They're just going to be terrible clients. Like it's going to happen. I hear some people say up to 30 to 40%. I don't think it's that high. Regardless of what you do, you're always going to have some sort of type of client that is bad, that's a headache if you're doing it at scale. But then you're really just kind of focusing in on like that 20% of people that you can really ascend. Now, the other people, obviously, you're going to focus on getting them results, but not everybody's built to run a $100,000, $1 million a month business, right? So it's like there's a reason there's the 1% for the 1%. And a lot of it I found is like you could be the best coach in the world, but some people just don't listen, or a lot of people just don't implement. And that's really what you're looking for, is like if you're going to ascend somebody, ascend the right type of people. Don't just do it for more money. I promise you, if you just do it for more money, it's going to be more of a headache than anything. And that's why we were that's why we filtered out these prospects, our clients, because we're like, hey, you have what it takes. We've been studying you. We know you're good enough to be here. That's why we really want to work with you to get you to this result. So my advice is like, if you're going to do it, don't be like everybody else that's just cash hungry and just trying to sell everybody into your higher level program. Like filter people out, make sure they're a good fit, or else it's going to really bite you in the ass. And the next thing when you do this, be a little bit different. Like for us, we do masterminds. We do quarterly masterminds in a different country every month. That alone is worth the price people pay just to go join our next level program, because they get a network. And we do master classes in these foreign countries. So like, for example, we just got back from, we had Mykonos, then we had the Bahamas, and now actually I have Bali coming up in a few weeks, and then we have Ibiza coming up from there. So it's like, those are the cool things a lot of people get excited about, especially in our industry, because like a lot of this is video calls like this that sometimes if you don't like actually force yourself to, go out there and network people, things get a little bit weird, so that's why we're really trying to build that connection from there. But anyways, I'd say if you're going to do it, highly consider it launching some sort of like next level program. And when you do that, make it different, charge higher ticket for it, price it so it's not just for everybody. I think when we first launched ours, we just kept it simple. We just doubled the price of our front end program, and then double the length. That was the easiest way. And then since then, we've changed things up quite a bit. And that would be my biggest advice, is highly consider having some sort of back-end offer to ascend people. And don't take advice from people that don't know what they're doing. I found that people that go online and they just talk about things are never the people that actually do the things. You need to find the people that people are talking about. So, for example, when I was at New Year's, I met this guy that I've seen online, and friends were talking about him. He's like, yeah, he's spent over $1 million a month just on this one ad funnel. And I was like, okay, well, clearly if he's spending over $1 million a month, he knows what he's doing. So like those are like, that's what I'm talking about. You don't want to like look at the people that are posting on their stories like, oh, I'm going to do this, on track for this. It's like, dude, that's bullshit. If they're going to be posting on the stories, look at hard concrete evidence. That's like if I ever post something, I do my best to just always show a screenshot to prove like, hey, this is a real number, because a lot of people are just talk, is what I found. So again, I don't want to get too far into that. I just want to get into the point of this is like, I think one of the biggest things in life lessons I've learned, or business lessons I've learned, is you need to have that next level for people, and you need to price it so it makes sense, but you also want to do it so it doesn't take up entirely your time. Like for me, people ascend into our next level, they get more access to me, but I don't hop on one-on-one calls every week. I don't do that. I've structured it so it's around my business so they can get the results they need, and I can have the peace of time peace of frame peace of mind that I want. Clearly, these are just raw scripts and unedited. I think that's the best way to do these videos because I just want to be real with you guys. So hopefully this is helpful. If it is, a little bit different style of video I've been doing. But if it is and you found value, just let me know down in the comments. If there's anything specific you want in the future, let me know, and I'd be happy to chop it up with you.